State Marco Rubio has spoken with his Russian counterpart about ending the Ukraine conflict as both sides prepare for fresh negotiations in Istanbul. Diplomatic contact between Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov comes as Ukraine and Russia conducted some of the largest drone attacks since the war began nearly 3 years ago. A second round of direct peace talks is scheduled again in Istanbul on Monday, with Ukrainian negotiators set to present new proposals to Russian representatives. So back to what is coming in here right now, Republic TV, and this is coming in as we saw. There have been Kiev has launched an escalation and a drone attack on Russia, and that is a picture coming in right now. This is pictures of Kiev launching deep drone strikes ahead of the talks, which will happen in Istanbul later on in the day. And as it continues, we see that there has been an update in terms of we see the negotiations. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spoken with his Russian counterpart about ending the Ukraine conflict, as both sides will also be holding those negotiation talks later on in Istanbul. Okay, let's go straight across to our guest who's joining us live right now. We have Rubio U.S, a geopolitical expert, joining us live here on Republic TV. Thank you for joining us here, Mr. Sachdev. My first question to you is that there definitely has been an escalation that you see coming right ahead of the negotiations which will be taking place in Istanbul. Now, is this escalation good news or bad news when it comes to negotiations and the talks which will follow next?
Well, thank you so much. In a way, I would say it is bad news overall for the negotiations because the Russian positions will probably harden. On the other hand, it's, good news for Ukraine. They pulled off such a massive operation. It's bad news for Russia. It completely exposed, and this is quite shocking, deep inside Russia, Irkutsk, Siberia, airbase out there. In total, about 40 aircraft destroyed. That's what Ukraine claims. Russia does say it has lost some, but not what number it's saying. But Ukraine is claiming that it has, destroyed through the drones, and the drones were actually carried inside Russia on trucks, which had, a wooden shed kind of being transported. So whenever local traffic police would stop them, they would see that this is some, house being made and it's a semi-shed. The drones were concealed in the false ceiling of the shed. And the trucks were positioned somewhere near the air bases. And then remote orders were given, controlled. The shed's roofs split open, the drones flew and destroyed the aircraft. A major operation, I would say, and a major blow to Russia.
That is right. Okay. Now, we have to talk a little bit more about the first round of talks which were held as well, and we saw there was some kind of progress which was made. There was a prisoner swap which had happened, but we also saw that both sides, Russia and Ukraine, were deeply divided on other issues as well. So right now, you're saying it's a 50-50 situation. What will it take for both sides to come on the same table and completely stop these escalations that we are seeing time and again, Mr. Sachdeva?
Great question, great point. What will it take? I have no answer. And I think what it will take will ultimately be that both parties realize it's the end of the road for them or a corner. Russia, as of now, does not seem to be in a mood or attitude to stop. And that can be seen, as you were mentioning, the prisoner swap recently, right? Which was to be seen as a good sign. That is optics or optopolitics, you could say, right? Prisoner swaps keep on happening. Putin, in a way, seems to be playing for time. But the issue, it seems also, is that even if Putin is playing for time, now Ukraine seems to be getting more fortified. Even if the U.S. and Trump are not going to fully support, or whatever, Europe has stepped in a major way. Europe has allowed Ukraine to now use long-distance missiles, right? And this success of yesterday, huge. So on the military front also, Putin could be boxed in. but he's not going to come to a halt, I think. Both sides have positions which are absolutely cannot be reconciled. Russia will not give up the territory it has acquired. There seems to be no chance for it, I would think. And Zelensky has said that they want the entirety of the pre-war Ukraine borders to be free of Russian occupation. So, I mean, there's absolutely no overlap, unfortunately. So, I mean, one does not know how and at best what could happen. Yes, but even that may not happen soon. Is some kind of a pause of, 2 week or a 30 days, which Putin would give or agree to in a way to again, manage the timelines and again dodge and keep his war going.
All right. Thank you for joining us there, Mr. Sachdeva, a geopolitical expert on this evolving situation between Russia and Ukraine.